Hey guys, Chad here for Kayak Bassing TV, and I am at Paddle Sports Retailer, Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm in the Bonafide booth. Now, here's the thing. If you've been following the channel, you've seen me fishing out of this boat pretty extensively, and a lot of the questions that come up are like, hey, how much time have you had in the boat? What's different about this boat? Why are you fishing out of that kayak? What's the story behind Bonafide? And I think what happened was when this boat came out, because of the reputation of the people building it, people expected a spaceship instead of a kayak. And here's what happened with this product, with the SS127 from Bonafide. It wasn't about building some abstract product that was something completely different. What it was about was building a product that looked a lot like everything else you've seen, but it does everything better, meaning down to the details of the shape of the handle. It was well thought out and comfortable for carrying, easy to access. The paddle boss for sliding your paddle in, to putting your rods in there, to the latches that allow you to not only open the hatch from the front and slide your rods and power pole and other, oversized pole type products in from the front, but you can also access it from the back and get into your hatch from the inside of the kayak, to the stagers that come inside the boat to manage your gear so that it don't end up in the back of the boat. You have to stand it up on its end to shake it, to the fact that you can even take these double take hatches and pop it off, and you can take this completely off for cleaning or rigging to get this out of your way so you don't have to constantly flip it back and forth. To the fact that the hood has got grooves in it that line up with your paddle boss. If you put your paddle under the paddle boss, the paddle lays in the grooves. When you put the rods in the stagers in the junk drawer and lay them between your legs, they stay where they're supposed to be because you have cutouts for the reel handles. You have staging grooves on the hood. To the dry pod that is actually dry. Like, it's dry meaning it's dry. That means no water. Not dry-ish, it's actually dry. If you want to drill holes in it, they're already pre-positioned on here for most of your popular electronics models out there. You can mount your transducer to the bottom, and with the oversized port, you can even use structure scan and some of the oversized transducers out there from almost all of the popular depth finders out there. There are some oversized, gargantuan transducers out there that are never going to fit in a kayak, but for the 99% of the stuff that's out there, it's going to fit. If you mount it to this dry pod, you pop it in place. But again, when we start talking about all these little things that were well thought out that make this boat just that kind of step above anything else that's out there, the pod flips up and stages out of the way. Why is that important? It's important because if you're going into shallow water, if you're running a rocky river and you don't want to get your transducer damaged or ripped off, when you're pulling into a boat ramp, you flip it up and you just stage it out of the way until you're back in deep water. Or if nature calls, you need to stand up and you don't want to have to aim it off to the side. You've got a perfect little piddle port right here, and it makes life easier, all right? The fact that the foot braces are positive, they fit the angle of your foot right from the higher seat, to the fact that they work on a track system so that they're infinitely adjustable. None of us are built the same, okay? None of us have the same hip to knee length and knee to ankle length or hip to ankle length. So having something that's infinitely adjustable, that doesn't have to fit in a half-inch window to where it's too long in one position and too short in the other position, means something that can be completely dialed in to your comfort level, is another one of those little tiny attention to detail things that make Bonafide and the SS127, kind of that next thing. To a seat that's just smart, okay? You're up high. There's no bars in the back of your legs. There's no contact points. There's no hot spots. It's one of those seats that at the end of the day, you don't feel like you've been beat up. You don't feel like you're ready to get back in it and you don't want to get out of it. To a simple operation that allows you to undo these things. And listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Even when I first saw the finalized product, the seat operation was a little bit intimidating, but it's a matter of simply just popping these legs down. Before you do that, you raise this up and pull the string, and the back legs collapse like that. And then you pop it into the position. Put it in 3 different positions to trim it, and then when you get ready to raise it up, and this is the part that I think intimidated a lot of people in the beginning. So I got to take the seat out to show you. They got these little hooks in here called sky hooks, okay? So when you have the seat in the position, in the low position, and you want to go to the high position, you simply come light in the seat, you pull the seat forward and it hooks into the sky hooks. You slide it back, and you flip the legs down and lock them in place, rotate your latches, and the seat is locked. It really is that simple. It's clean, the seat goes in easy, comes out easy for transport, for cleaning, for storage. And then there's this dude right here, right? It's called the junk drawer. If you're a big dude like me and you've got a belly to reach around and it's a pain in the butt to try to find something under your seat, this thing solves that problem. You never have to go digging around trying to fish around for that thing that's rolling around in the bottom of your kayak, because the junk drawer is as easy as taking the knob, loosening it up, and sliding it forward. One of the things that I've done is I've replaced this with my Yak Attack drink holder. I set it on top of there and then I use it as an oversized knob and a place to hold my soft plastics until I get done for the day to make sure I don't throw them back in the water. Coming on back to the boat, you've got just a huge tank well, a lot of storage. There's tracks everywhere tracks are supposed to be. And then if you look right here, you've even got traction pads and stagers. And the reason that those are there is because you can stand up on top of the boat. The reason you can stand up on top of the boat is because it's that stable. It's not one of those stabilities that you have to think about, okay? If you've got to think about standing instead of just standing, you shouldn't be standing. If you've got to think about setting the hook and you've got to hope the hook set is true, you got to hope the line don't break so you don't end up going swimming, you probably shouldn't be standing. So one of the things that went heavily into this boat, the SS, is sit stand, okay? Is standing, but uncompromising stability. Not stability that was stable by wide, it was stable by design. And not giving up an efficient hull design that's gonna allow you to paddle and maneuver and have good tracking. Now, I'll just tell you this. If I heard somebody say this as recently as a year ago, before I started working on this project, I would have looked at them like they were crazy. But let me break this down for you. Because of the double keel design and because of the way that this boat is set up and the way that the hull has been developed, and when I talk about developed, it wasn't a couple of dudes in a couple of weeks. It was extensive testing. It tracks well because it's got two keels in the back and it's got a sharp entry in the front. And the faster you go, the better it tracks. But when you slow down, it maneuvers. So again, I would probably have kicked my own ass if I heard me say this a year ago. A boat that tracks well and is maneuverable, dude, that don't exist. Now, if this boat's going high speed, it's not gonna maneuver because we ain't figured that part out yet. But at low speeds, it's super maneuverable, and at high speeds, it tracks really well. So if you're looking for the ultimate in stability, okay? If you're looking in the ultimate in riggability, the ultimate in fishability, it's the Bonafide SS127. Let's finish it off in the stern, and then you guys just go get in line to get you one of these like everybody else. This rear access hatch back here is genius, okay? Having to actually cut a hole in the back of the boat and put a aftermarket hatch in there has been maddening and frustrating for about 99.999% of the fishermen out there who've ever had to mount something on the back of the kayak. The ability to put a torpedo motor in the center or a power pole in the center, a power pole on each side and a motor in the center, or what the heck ever you decide to put back here is as easy as taking this off, attaching your mounting hardware, and you're only limited to what your imagination brings to the table. So look, here's the deal. If you're looking for a boat that maneuvers well, that's easy to stand in, that has uncompromised stability, and that isn't a spaceship, okay? But it's a boat that all the little 1% and 2% differences make up a whole bunch of difference as a collective sum, then you're looking for the Bonafide SS127. If your dealer near you doesn't have it, tell them they need it. And if they decide not to need it, you need to find a new dealer. Because if you're a kayak fishing dealer and you don't carry the Bonafide SS127, you're not a kayak fishing dealer. So anyway, listen, I could go on and on. It's obvious that I'm passionate about this boat and about this product, but I've seen the comments that you've asked. I've seen the questions that you've posted, and I've had a hard time getting to all of them. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait till I had more time in the boat. I wanted to wait till I had more of you asking the questions so that I could answer them. Because the answer to all of those questions is the Bonafide SS127, so just go get you one.